I guess Phil is kind of like me, a bit intellectually defended, and he uses his humor to kind of rebuff. What I have been saying about this novel is that it's, my semi-autobiographical novel, that it's about a writer who squanders his talents in television, drinks too much, screws around, ruins his marriage, and the reason it's semi-autobiographical is his name is Phil. So well, Phil McQuigg has, when he starts writing the book, and it's all written, I'm trying to follow the process of his creation of the book, and his life has fallen completely apart. There's been a, what's the word, scandal, or something bad has happened at work. He's a television producer, and that is kind of a mystery that emerges throughout the book, what's taken place. His marriage has fallen apart. He's taken to drinking excessively, and he lives in a little squalid bedsit, as he calls it, and is trying, well, I was going to say he's trying to cope, but that's not very accurate. He's sort of allowing himself not to cope, and his one kind of, the straw he's clutching at is his, that if he writes this novel, people will at least understand him, and a credit to him, a little humanity, which I guess is, at the beginning, he feels that he's lost. At one point, I remember thinking that it was if, I do sometimes conceive of the book as dealing with the same subject matter as the Mystic Ravine, the novel and movie, but in a lighthearted manner. And I guess I enjoyed saying that because it's, it's kind of perversely funny. But I do think that it's often been my inclination to deal with serious subject matter and if not a lighthearted, of kind of using humor to soften the blows. I think most kids who grew up in Toronto have a ravine, because kids from Banff maybe have mountaintops, but I mean, it's a place we spend a lot of time. And, I think there were the possibility of it's sort of the dark side showing itself was quite prevalent. For the first year or two I spent writing it, I was actually calling it Bottle Calls, because Phil likes to, as I was saying, he's taken to drinking more than is necessary. And after a couple of bottles of wine, he enjoys getting on the telephone and calling people and trying to, make certain sense of his life in various ways. So he spends, most sections end with him calling someone. I invent this character, Phil, who claims he's writing a novel to cover up for the holes in his memory. But it is kind of, I guess, a book on one level about memory, but specifically how poor memories are, and how it's just not a very good system for retention of information and emotions. At least my memory, but I'm saying a lot of people's memories. He is ultimately successful at setting down an account of his life, and I guess sort of part of the, I would say, part of the lesson he learns, or part of his victory and reward, is that sort of having overcome to a certain extent the shortcomings of his memory, and that he's managed to set down an account, he then finds a kind of a liberation in imagination, that he's able to then project a future, and it's an inconclusive ending, but there's possibilities there, and previously to that, he's clearly, or I think pretty clearly made up something about the ending of the story, which is acceptable given the journey he's been on, that he would be able to do this.